More now with Jeff Landry, who's the State Attorney General in Louisiana, joins us now. And obviously, as you heard and saw there, we know people in your state are going through a lot. Sir, a bigger picture, how are you doing? What's the update today?
Yeah, it's a pretty bleak situation here in Louisiana. I spent all day yesterday in the Lake Charles, Calcasieu Parish area where y'all just showed and interviewed that gentleman. But what's important to recognize is that all the way throughout from southwest Louisiana all the way to northeast Louisiana, kind of at almost a 45-degree angle, there is destruction. We've got parishes, equivalent to counties that are completely out of power, as far away as Washita Parish, up near Monroe, that's in the northeast section, Ruston, Alexandria. The devastation down in Lake Charles is just utterly amazing. It reminds me a lot of Hurricane Michael that affected the Panhandle back a couple of years ago. I was there helping some people during that in the aftermath of that storm. I'll tell you, the biggest challenge that Lake Charles has right now is water. And there's a couple of parishes around that area that their municipal water systems are just down. It's one thing not to have electricity. It's another not to have water.
How is COVID complicating things, and what would you like to see done in terms of the state's movement between phases? I know the governor, right before this storm came in, said they're going to stay in phase 2 for a while. Now that the storm has hit, I mean, what should happen now? And again, how is it complicating things, if at all?
Well, I think it's complicating it a lot. I mean, look, our COVID count has been dropping precipitously over the last couple of weeks or so. I can tell you I'm way more concerned by other infectious diseases that tend to raise their heads when you don't have potable water in neighborhoods, you don't have electricity, you don't have proper utilities. Look, I think if we got out of phase 2 and went to phase 3, I think we'd be a lot better off. I think there's way more concern about the quality of life amongst people in the affected areas than worrying really about COVID. I mean, we know what the disease is now. We know who it primarily affects, once you segregate that side of the population out, we have to deal with cleaning this thing up.
So I believe President Trump's going to visit right over the weekend. Will you see him on that visit? And I guess, more importantly, what specifically do you need right now from the federal government?
Yeah, look, I certainly am. I'm hoping to be there tomorrow, whatever time the president is scheduled to be in Lake Charles. I'm going to be making a flyover later on today. I was with our congressman in the Lake Charles area yesterday, Congressman Clay Higgins. I think the thing is two things we need from FEMA. Number one, we need to streamline the paperwork. We need to make sure that the local governments are able to access the assets that they need as quickly and efficiently and as effectively as possible. I spoke to a mayor in Westlake today who told me that he can't simply get diesel to run the generators for their sewage plants and water plants in the Westlake area, which is west of the city of Lake Charles. He's been asking for diesel, just plain diesel for 24 hours. He finally picked up the phone, called down in Lafayette, and he's got diesel being delivered. And then he was like, am I going to get reimbursed? He just cannot wait. And I think that's the biggest frustration. Sometimes the bureaucratic paperwork in this process just overwhelms the system. And these elected officials, especially these mayors, the sheriffs, the parishes, parish county administrators, need to be able to access these assets as quickly and effectively as possible.
Well, that's a really good point and an important point. We've seen these in past storms where, the help gets there, but it's when it gets there, as people need it right away. Jeff Landry, all the best, the State Attorney General in Louisiana.